Imagine yourself with 1,200 pounds. Total power, yet complete control. Freedom and exhilaration, yet connected and united as one, working together. Do you know what I'm talking about? Hello, my name is Lena Strench, and today I'm going to talk to you about the sport of horseback riding, and in particular how to prepare yourself and the horse every time you go for a ride. A little background on me. I began riding around 10 years old and have done competitive sport for around 5 years. Since then, I've also continued working with animals and learning more about behavior and better preparing myself in the different activities it takes to get the horse ready for a ride. Over time, I've learned 3 main aspects to get yourself and the horse ready. In this, it starts with attire for yourself, which is critical for safety, grooming and cleaning of the horse, as well as tacking up. Tack is the equipment you use on the horse in order to ride properly, and I can discuss that more later on in the presentation. To begin with, attire is leather boots. Leather boots are important for safety, as you should never have open-toed shoes around horses. They can be unpredictable in step. I've been stepped on multiple times and had a few bruises, but leather boots can protect you from breaking any bones or having any severe injuries. Now, from the bottom to the top, I'd like to talk about the most important piece, which is the equestrian helmet. The equestrian helmet is extremely important for protecting yourself in a fall. It's important that they fit properly, they're not too loose and not too tight as well to where you have a headache. And you should always keep the chin strapped on to be safe. The CDC recommends that you keep one that is STMI, SEI, or SNELL certified. This means they've gone through proper safety testing to make sure they'll withstand any sort of fall. It's bound to happen. Horses can be unpredictable, they can get spooked, you can mess up, anything can happen, you can fall. I've fallen off multiple times, and I personally remember one experience in which a horse refused to jump. I was thrown into the wall, directly hitting my helmet. I had a slight headache. However, I feel that it would have been much worse if I didn't have a helmet and I could have been critically injured from this incident. And now that you're ready to ride, it's important to learn what the horse needs, and I'll begin with grooming, in which there will be 4 materials you'll need to use. Grooming happens in what's called cross ties. It's a small stall that has 2 tethers on each side that connect to the horse's face to keep them secure. And with this, we're going to work with the first tool, which is called a curry comb. It's an oval-shaped comb with little rivets on it, and you go in a circular motion to break up any dirt, debris, or manure in their coats. And you go from neck to tail, and you do not go below the knee as they have sensitive tendons with this brush. Next, you will use what's called a hard brush. These are very compact, thick bristles that you go in a flicking motion down the coat to get the rest of the dirt, going from neck to tail, and you can do the feet as well to make sure their legs are completely clean. You can follow this with what's called a soft brush. It's a little bit smaller with much smaller bristles, and it's very soft to use on their face. Some horses don't like this being done, and some love it, so be discretionary towards it and analyze if your horse can handle it. It's not worth risking your safety to groom their face. The final thing is what's called a hoof pick. You use the metal tip on the end and pick up their foot and scoop around the edges any manure, rocks, or dirt that's stuck within their hoofs. The most important piece is to not touch what's a triangular shape called a frog, as it's very sensitive and it's right in the center of the hoof. Now you have completed the final step with grooming, and we can move on to getting your horse set up completely for the ride by tacking up. Tack is the equipment you can see in this image, like the bridle, the saddle, and the pieces underneath that allow your horse to be comfortably ridden and you to stay in control of the animal. Typically, for most horses, you'll need 5 items. Some have specialty items that need different things, but I use these 5 every time I ride. I start with a saddle pad, which is rectangular in shape and typically made of cotton. It's described by Dover Saddlery, a reputable brand that has produced products for years, as a fundamental purpose and thin cushion that protects against friction and absorbs perspiration. Next, you will use what's called a bounce pad. It's smaller in the shape of a saddle, but substantially thicker, and Dover Saddlery says that it's filled with polyester batting and quilted for a cushiony comfort that absorbs any shock between you and the horse. On top of this goes the saddle. This is where you will sit, and it rests comfortably behind what's called the withers, or the shoulders. And with this, you'll put your feet in what's called the stirrups. And a little tip I like to use to make sure they're the right length is you stick your flat hand under this crevice and the stirrup in your armpit. and the length of your arm is what the length of the stirrup should be to sit comfortably. To hold all this together is the girth. The girth is similar to like a belt for us and holds everything together. You start connecting one side on the loosest setting, go around, connect the other, and make it a lot tighter. The saddle shouldn't move, but you still should be able to fit 3 fingers in the girth so it's not too tight. The final step is the bridle. The bridle is similar to the halter from the cross-tie picture, but instead it has what's called a bit in the horse's mouth that sits comfortably in a pocket in their teeth, and their ears will go through the hole in the top. The 2 most important pieces to making sure the bridle is secure is the throat latch should be tight enough where it's on, but you still should be able to fit a fist through it. And the nose band right above the bit, we should be able to fit 2 fingers through so the horse is very comfortable. And now you're both prepared and ready to ride. It's a lot of work, but it's important that you follow through every step and don't neglect any one of them. This is a wonderful connection between you and the horse, and you must respect one another and connect with one another and work together to have a good time riding around. Thank you very much and ride safe.